Hello, everyone, and welcome to Money and Mindset at 40 Plus. I am Sylvia.
And I am Jenny.
That's an inside joke. You have to watch last week's episode to understand the funniness in that one. We are so happy to be here on our weekly live YouTube channel show where we talk about our money stories in order to help you conquer your money fears to have a more abundant life, because we all deserve that, don't we, Jenny?
We sure do. And I just want to say we're still live, Sylvia, right? This is no like
It
hide
is.
behind a podcast.
It is. We're not hiding. This is it. Us, you and me, baby. Today's an interesting topic. We are talking about nice girls. Are you a nice girl, Jenny?
I am a nice girl. I am. And until the time of maybe even 40, it was a compliment. And now I'm not sure if I put it in the compliment category. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the stories that go and the values and the attributes that are tied to being nice and the things that nice girls do and don't do, Sylvia.
Yeah, that's true, because you know what? Compliments don't pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
And a lot of women, the women that I work with, are afraid to charge what they're worth. And that will be different for everybody, and we'll go into that. But you know what will make us feel good about what we're charging? And last week we delved into money stories, and this is a big money story for many. So if you're listening, please let us chime in, let it in the chat, say hello, say yes, this resonates with you. If you had any money stories coming up, just say hello. The more people who say hello in the comments, the more people get to watch this.
Yeah.
It's all algorithm, Jenny, algorithm. So yeah, the two stories that are coming up.
Yeah. So we talked, we could have done like many of our topics, Sylvia, we could have spent hours telling stories, and even just at 11:58, we're like, oh, that story too. But I wanted to I'll talk about my story, and then maybe you want to talk about
yours. Go ahead. What's your story?
We were laughing, first of all, because the role models that we grew up with, Sylvia, we're not telling our age, but I watched, Dallas was like Friday night in my house, Dynasty and Dallas.
Yes.
And we were joking that, all those role models were evil women, right? Joan Collins, the more pearls you have, the more awful you are.
Right? So the rich bitch.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yes.
Right on. Can we say that on YouTube?
I think we can say it's our show. We can say what we want.
All right. So in another vein, the story I had to tell about was we've had a longtime dentist who's taken care of my family since I was 16 years old. And the dentist retired and we moved on to a new dentist. And remember last week we talked about having those feelings and just noticing those feelings. So the new dentist, I had the experience with the new dentist, went to the counter to pay. And when I looked at the invoice, it was like at least a third, if not a half more than what I normally charge. And immediately I had this feeling, and we loved our previous dentist. He was the nicest person, right? See where this is going?
Yes.
He was the nicest person. He was so genuine. He was so caring. He was an excellent dentist. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't that he was it was an and. And when I paid, I felt I needed to say something. So I said to the receptionist, well, this is more than we used to have with our previous dentist. And she said, well, it's still 10% below the recommended book value for dental organizations. And I paid the bill, and I was having this weird feeling, and I walked out the door, and I had to stop myself, and I said, well, hold on a minute. How was the service?
Yeah.
And the service was great. I have no complaints about the service. So what's the issue? And I realized the aha, Sylvia, was nice people charge less. I had equated people that were nice with people that charge less money. And then I was like, oh my gosh, am I doing that in my own business? How is that impacting all sorts of things? So that was a really powerful one for me from another service provider. And I think in charity, I'll just finish with this, that we always we always want a deal, right? We always want a deal in charity. We always want to get something pro bono, all that things, because nice people give us pro bono. Well, maybe that's true, but is that the whole story? And where is that money story coming from or driving from?
Yeah. And in my practice, in my agency, the doula agency, I've had people, potential clients ask for discounted rates. And then I get all these feelings. Oh, well, I am a nice person, so nice people do give the discounts. But then I get all frustrated because I know that I'm not charging enough to be able to discount my rates. And then I do it anyway. And they end up being the most complicated customers that we have. And I'm like, why did I do that? Why? And it just, so then I stopped doing that. I raised my rates, and then I've gotten through that barrier, plowed through it, that I can still be nice and charge and be the most expensive agency here, right? You know,
and maybe you support in other ways. Like, in other words, there's many different ways to be nice than just charging less, Sylvia. Maybe that's the takeaway, one of the massive takeaways from today.
Well, in the second story, the first one being rich people are jerks. Not true. But look who we have as, some role models, specifically in the States, is Trump, a rich man, Jeff Bezos, also not getting, good stories. But the second one would be that women shouldn't talk about money. Yeah. Indeed. Right. And or we're not comfortable talking about money. I mean, that's not a story, but I know for many it is a story. I feel uncomfortable talking about money. So that comes up in, those, they're asking me for a discount. You just, yeah, sure. I'll do it. Right. So some of the other ways, though, what have you encountered in terms of, you talked about pro bono?
Yeah, well, so everything from reducing your price, having a sliding scale for different shapes of organization, bartering, right? So I'll do this for you if you do that for me. So things don't go through the books, we don't pay, etc. Pro bono work for sure. Bonuses, right?
That's a big one. I find in the coaching and online course world, a lot of bonuses. Here's the price. I don't discount it, but if you sign up, before XYZ date, you get these different bonuses. Yes. So lots of different ways.
One thing we were talking about just before we got on the call, because we talk at length before we get on these calls. It's like part of the fun part of having Sylvia in my life, just full disclosure there. But we talk about pieces of this story. And I kept saying to Sylvia, do you remember? It's just a number. It's just a number.
It's just a number.
Why are we so hung up on that? Like in fundraising, right? Extra zeros. It's just a number. And your self-worth is not tied to that number, right? But it is a tool for you to achieve your goals and your success, Sylvia.
Yeah, and it's so deeply ingrained. I mean, I think I'm over certain things, and then I'm not. Like another story popped up recently where I undercharged someone and forgot to charge them a certain, just a really small amount. And then I was like, oh, I'll just give it to them. That'll be nice. And then someone else, my husband was beside me, said, no, just charge them. And I'm like, well, no, they might not give me a good Google review. And he's like, no, Sylvia, it's just really, just do it. They owe you that money. And I'm like, okay, I will do it. And I felt like, I didn't want to do it. And all this stuff was coming up. And I was like, I haven't dealt with it all. Why is this coming up again? Right. So continually faced.
And I think that's what makes this show really different. We're not here to tell you everything's perfect, folks on the line. We are working through this with you. We're in the trenches. It still happens to us. I mean, different kinds of up-levelings, but I so appreciate those stories of yours, Sylvia.
And we want to know your stories, for those who are listening live and in the replay, let us know what stories have you encountered in terms of the nice girl, right? How does that come off? Are you charging what you feel you should be charging or want to be charging? What's that price? What's that level that's going to make you feel like a rock star giving your services? I think that's what it comes down to.
So let's decompose that word nice. Can we take a minute on nice? So nice, I think for women, nice is a safe word, right? So you stay in your box. You don't rock the boat. You don't charge too much or maybe too little. You don't ask for much. And it's a way to stay safe or to play safe. Whether that's asking for money in a job interview, whether that's asking for what you're worth as a business coach like you, Sylvia, whether it's asking for a gift. Oh my gosh, what if I'm too big for my britches? What if I'm totally off on that number? And I think we're always afraid of being laughed out of the room or not being taken seriously. So I think this word nice, I can't imagine, and just using genders for a second, imagine somebody saying, oh, that gentleman, he's so nice. I think we'd use other language. Women are the one that get nailed with nice.
Yeah, we do.
We really do. And so, it'd be fun if people on the call, what are the adjectives that we think of as synonymous with nice, right? To me, the word that comes to mind is passive, a little bit vacant, a little bit innocuous, like,
generic,
apathy
a little bit. Yeah. She's a nice person. She's
Yeah.
nice. She's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of other adjectives we could be using, right?
Yeah. So, and how do we control what other people think about us? So that requires us to own our space. That's your big thing, right? Visibility, Sylvia. And owning our space and saying this is what we're worth, or this is how I work. Sometimes it's just a matter even of saying, well, this is my approach as a business coach, or in my case, this is how we do things in fundraising. Because, in my world, we're always talking about people that have different power balances around a volunteer table, and the opportunity to be not just be, okay, sure, Mr. Chair, right? But compliant, that's the word. Thank you, Laura. Another one, compliant. Yeah. So like, if we can find ways to move our agenda forward in a way that still feels competent and confident, to me, that's a much more effective fundraiser or effective business coach. You must have lots of clients that want to stay safe and in the nice bucket.
Oh, right? So many. And I recall me putting my new website together, and the words I came up with was be bold, be vibrant. And you had asked me, so you want to attract women like that. And I hadn't really thought about that. And I was like, it caught me off guard. And I was like, yes. And I was like, yes, we need to have those stronger. There's nothing wrong being strong. And I think a lot of women equate that visibility with power, and power is not equated with women. That's a negative word, right? And no, we want to own our space and be powerful within our space. And how do we redefine those words for ourselves? Like, I don't think I will change. A lot of people, I think women, well, one of the fears of having a lot of money and making perhaps another, like up leveling to another, higher level of money making, is that they fear that they will change and that they need to become the mean and ruthless Dynasty Joan Collins rich bitch, right? I mean, and that, no, you don't have to. You can stay you. And nice can still be part of that, but very rare in marketing in women. And do I see, that someone wants to put nice in their marketing words? It's
it's a 4-letter word, but not that kind of 4-letter word.
Right.
Two things I want to catch quickly. One is that picking up on that first story, our first business coach, I can remember Sheila Cummins being in the room and her saying to me, and what would happen if your business took off? And my response was, I would lose my husband.
Really?
So
if
my business blows up and goes well, I'm going to lose my husband, right? I would have no room in my life for my husband. So staying safe, charging less kept me in a place of safety, right?
Where you can juggle all the balls already, because for you, equating more money meant that you were busier than you already are, right?
So it keeps me in my place.
Not because he doesn't want you to make more money.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So talk about making decisions for him. If he's listening to this call, I know what he'd say. Jenny, I'm ready to retire tomorrow. Like, I have no doubt he would say that.
He'd be the first one. Yeah.
And then the second word I want to pick up on is, which we really struggle with in I think in gender worlds, is the word winning. I think for women, the word win, and I'm a big tennis player, right? So I'm competitive. And I find there are very few women, and I don't even know if I would put myself in that category, that are 100% comfortable with being competitive and winning. We are trained as women to work collaboratively. I believe it goes back to the whole, like, we stir the fire and we got a baby on a hip and we're keeping track of everybody. And we sort of automatically go collaboratively because that's the way our brains are wired. Like, I do think there's some genetics there. But, winning can be a really negative word for women. So when I talk about campaigns, I find women on my campaigns shy away from numbers, like a $5 million campaign. They couldn't care less. You want to reach them through what that money's going to do. And yet there will always be men on the group. And I'm really generalizing here, guys, on the call, but stereotypical men, stereotypical female profiles will want to have a really bold target because they want to achieve something, right? So winning is part of the story. It's just some thoughts about language. And so if you're not reaching folks, or if you're having trouble connecting with people, exploring some of the language you're using to reach them, because we are the chameleons, right? As the business coach, as the fundraiser, we're always adapting to support our clients.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. The thing that comes up too in charging your worth, and we've mentioned it before, is that feeling of imposter syndrome. I find that in my clientele, it's in breaking down those money blocks that we have. You know, who am I to charge more? I see that a lot in my clientele, and it does come around full circle too. Well, I'm nice, you know, and I had a client this week say, well, you know, I'm choosing my prices, I'm thinking of my clients and what they need. And I'm like, well, how do you know what they need? How much do you know how much they have in their, yeah, how much they have in their bank account? She goes, no. And I said, well, you're projecting that price is good for you, but what's good for them, you have no idea until
Who,
you make that offer.
who are you to assume their accounting? How dare you, actually?
How dare you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the doula world, Sylvia. So
Mm.
Laura, who's listening in, she talked last week about we called it compassion work, right? Paid compassion work. So tell me about this lovely double-edged sword. You are coaching women to do women's work, and I imagine one of your biggest challenges is getting them to charge for it when there's a huge compassion piece there. And how do you coach them out of that? And maybe that's my better question for you.
Well, I think people who work with me see me charging, higher prices. So I think already they come on board. So my clientele do want to charge, and it's getting them through these blocks of it's okay to charge. Maybe not right away, and we'll start lower, but we're going to gradually increase till you're higher. There is a whole. It's kind of like these two sides of a coin. There are a whole group of, let's say, doulas who do not charge versus the ones who do and need to make a living. The ones who do not charge have a financial security at home that allows them to volunteer their time. However, what we've noticed is that what it does is they market themselves as these free doulas, and no matter what you're offering, it could be a yoga teacher, a nutritionist, whatever services you're offering, if you're giving them for free, we are training people to get them for free and to make them lower and lower the price, lower until we're not charging anything. So there are these wars. You see them online, like the mommy wars. It's another type of battle between the two. I am for paid work. I need to make a living, and there's nothing wrong with that. Right. And I do like, what I tell my coaching clients in this regard is that the clients who are choosing those free services, well, they wouldn't pay for us anyway. They don't value it enough. They wouldn't value your services, and that will show up in your relationship with them.
And I want to pick up on value because that ties into value proposition. So I would rather work really hard to do an excellent job with the clients I have who pay me my worth than to dilute myself and do an okay job, or in some cases a crappy job, across a whole bunch of clients. And that's a tough lesson to learn, Sylvia. I think that's a lesson learned. I've got that one. I got the scars from it, and I'm on the other side of it, because I think the more you focus on the experience and the quality for the folks that you're coaching and the folks that you're working with, the more impact you'll be able to have. And I credit our business coach saying, well, with that many hours of your time, are you able to make the kind of impact that needs to happen? So, I think I'm watching the time. These go so fast, Sylvia.
I know.
Crazy. But where do you want to go next?
Well, where it's taking me is that, when you're looking at your pricing or the campaign number that you want to do in your nonprofit, or whenever there are some numbers involved, really delve into where are you getting these numbers and the feelings that come up when you are setting your prices. Why are we doing this? What is all of that, and the feelings that come up, because a lot of this is the nicety of being women, is like those feelings that come up. And that would be like, and you don't have to validate your prices with anybody, your best friend or your spouse, right? We had that talk. You said they're still going to like you. I'm still going to like you no matter what you charge, Jenny.
Thank you. I needed to hear that. No, just kidding. I'm getting better, and your accountant, financial person doesn't have final say on your personal decisions about money. I think that's a great one too. People will always tell you how to parent. They'll always tell you advisors will always tell you how to manage your money or what you should charge or whatever. And I think it's a great opportunity to listen, but I'm not saying it's a great opportunity to comply or, quote, be nice, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. And if, coming back to wanting to be nice, we're not telling you not to be, but
Yeah.
what kind of structures do you need to put in place that allows you perhaps to give your time, in the pro bono cases, or a discounted rate, or a sliding scale? What does that look like, when we're charging? So that's an important one. And, consistently raising your prices, not to feel bad about it. It's just the way it is. And perhaps letting your people know that, oh, next month my rates are going up, so get me now. It's definitely.
And maybe we start to equate raising prices with all this great new learnings and knowledge that we have as experts to share. So we want to make sure we can keep diving in. For me, professional development is really important. So that's one of the ways I can make sure that I'm delivering the most cutting edge, or the most, up-to-date information or content for people I work with.
Well, and also and donating, like you are really big on wanting to promote the causes in your community, and many of us are. So what charging our worth allows us to put some money aside, that we're not living paycheck to paycheck, and we can plan better. Yeah,
And
definitely.
it's okay from a marketing perspective to use a sponsorship for visibility for your business. Don't feel shy about that. It's okay. And it's really, as a fundraiser, we love businesses that stand behind their values. So I really encourage you to, if that's one of your ways you'd like to be philanthropic through your business, do it, and do it with a huge smile and lots of presents, because that's a wonderful thing. So
yeah, don't hide behind it. Again, we hide behind it. How many anonymous donors? No, you want to see Jenny Mitchell. $5 million.
That's what I'm going for. $5 million.
$5 million.
All right. So we got to keep going here. So final takeaways so it's about noticing how you feel. It's about having those strong feelings coming up and going, ooh, that's interesting, right? So asking. So I'm a fundraiser, you're a business coach. Asking is important. It's part of the job. So Sylvia, what's your ask for this week? What are you offering? We need to ask and offer.
Yeah, we're giving the example. We will make our ask. I have an amazing new program, Jenny. It's a one-on-one coaching program with me for 3 months, and it's all about increasing your visibility so you market yourself with confidence to make more money. And it's all about not hiding. We need to be visible.
In the spirit of not hiding, what's the pricing, Sylvia?
It's usually $849 a month for 3 months, but it's for this, if you're watching this, and whoever, for the month of July, $649 times 3.
I love it.
It's going to be a lot of fun, because it's all, I love visibility. If you were to know me and if you've been on this journey with me, I would never have been doing all of these live show about 2 years ago. I was not getting on camera, and we can do a whole thing about that. I would love to share my story with you. And now I go on camera live like this on about 3 different shows a week. So really, I will bring you there.
She is proof positive of visibility. So
you.
I too. I need an ask. So I'm letting you know that I am setting up a money mindset assessment. It's a special price of $449. It includes the quiz, which will help you understand your money archetype, how you see the world through your lens of money, as well as like an hour and a half where we get a chance to dive in and have some conversations, have some discussions about those stories, and which stories about money that you'd like to keep, and how you show up in the world. It's not quite a couples counseling, but there may be some elements of that. It might be boss employee counseling as well, to have another tool to see the world through somebody else's eyes. And it's been really powerful for other folks. How can we find out about these programs, Sylvia? I
have our websites here. Jenny is at chavender.com. I am at sovibrant.com with so vibrant with the hyphen. We have our numbers and emails on our websites that you can reach out, and we'd love to hear you. We would hear from you. We'd love to hear from you. If this has resonated, please feel free, write to us, write in the comments. And
next week's show. This is another one. Can I say it?
Say it.
Feeling financially stupid.
We have the greatest titles.
We do, don't we? So this is the ostrich show. This is the fact that you can't just stick your head in the sand and pretend that the money problem is going to go away, because in general it gets worse. So I'm Jenny,
And I'm Sylvia.
And we're signing you off for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep the comments going. If you're listening afterwards, please put your comments on the YouTube channel. We'd love to hear from you. And that's all we got.
Subscribe and share with your friends. And we'll see you next week.
Sounds great.
Every Thursday. All right. Bye, everyone.